Hello ladies and gentlemen, and welcome back to another video. Before I get into it, just like to remind you guys that I was gone for TwitchCon over the past 5 days or so, and then upon getting back in town from TwitchCon, I had to immediately get back to work, which is why this video is a little bit late, but we're just gonna kind of hop right into it. Starting off with, when I made it to TwitchCon, this was my first ever con in general. It was my first ever convention. Never been to a Comic-Con, never been to a PAX, never been to an E3 or anything along those lines. So all of my observations are purely based off of friends who have told me stories over the years. So that mixed with my actual first-hand experience is going to be kind of what the final opinion is going to be based on. Now, moving into it, just want to go ahead and say that overall, if for no other reason, this trip was amazing just to go and visit San Diego. I'm not usually the person that's super hyped on going to quote unquote big cities for vacation and stuff along those lines, but it was kind of interesting, the area where I ended up staying. It didn't feel like a big city. It didn't feel like I was in the middle of a con trapped event. San Diego's different districts, if you will, really gave different flavor and atmosphere depending on the part that you were in. And if nothing else about the trip, I gotta just say that San Diego was very beautiful and I didn't ever feel treated bad manner while I was there. So let's get that out of the way. Talking about purely from like a vacation-y stance, like that right there is good enough motivation to make a sort of trip to a con like this. Let's get into the actual con itself, because a lot of people, myself included, were expecting the lines to be really unbearable. Matter of fact, the first day of badge receiving or reception, I and Riot, both of us were kind of ready to be there for anywhere from like 3 to 5 hours, and we actually ended up getting in and out really quickly. And that's kind of the theme for the entirety of the weekend. Anytime people thought that it was going to take forever to get into lines or get through different things, the lines were ran really well. There were always plenty of open lines to go through, and the staff that were actually working the event, working the venue, security and all that, did a really good job of just handling the large exodus of bodies that were entering and exiting the convention center. So that part was awesome. The other part that was really cool was, of course, getting to see like all of these streamers, all these gamers, because there were a lot more community people than I thought there'd be, like a ton of individuals who don't stream but are just fans of the streaming platform, fans of that type of content, and they were just hoping to meet their favorite streamer or hoping to meet friends of their favorite streamer. And then there was even a couple who were looking for networking opportunities so that they could possibly start streaming themselves. But for the most part, it was just a bunch of gamers. You didn't really see a lot of networking gurus. I didn't see a ton of social media, masters or anything like that. But the con definitely had a few regulars, a few big names that made it there. And so that was kind of cool to be a part of as well. Moving on from the actual people that were there, the overall vibe was it was very interesting. It was a very the best way that I can describe it was, it was like a palace full of introverts. It was a place that was meant to host a whole bunch of people who aren't usually the most outgoing of people, but because they were around a lot of other people who felt similarly and liked the same things and all these other different factors, it really did cultivate a nice kind of feel like, okay, so I'm not the only gamer out there, or okay, I'm not the only person who enjoys just the entire community feel that comes with gaming. And so with all those introverts in one place, it really wasn't as bad as you'd expect. A lot of people respected other people's space. There were a couple out of the blue IRL streamers who were making sure that they streamed themselves at con. And then of course the meet and greets went on very well. A lot of bigger names such as your XQCs, your Doc Disrespect, your even like Raj Patel's show was there. Like all of these meet and greets had really good turnouts, even from people I think that weren't even necessarily regular viewers. And so that was just overall a really cool thing to see. But honestly, apart from the aspect of understanding all of the gamers that were there and understanding the way that a lot of people think that attended, the majority of TwitchCon, it felt very manufactured. It felt like a hodgepodge of people who aren't gamers, but they make products that gamers use. It felt like a lot of those people, and I'm mainly looking towards the brands, the people who were there to sell product. It really felt more about them than the actual the streamers. I'll just say it like that. It felt like a lot of the brand booths and whatnot, although they may have made posts about looking for partner streamers and stuff along those lines, the vast majority of them had zero interest in up-and-coming streamers, like affiliates who haven't yet hit the average viewer count of like 75 plus and stuff along those lines. And that part wasn't really as cool to see, because it just felt like the booths that were there, they weren't there for the streamers. They were there to try to like get the community members to actually buy stuff from them. The other side to that coin is the workshop classes were so good. They had a lot of interesting panels for up and coming streamers who had a lot of questions, and most of the people that they had on those panels were really knowledgeable, and they gave a lot of sound advice and shared a lot of great experiences. I think that when you're talking about a community that has such a small population of like actual content creator to viewer ratio, it was really impressive to see like the turnout, not only for the workshops, but just like the panels, like the people who wanted to help up and coming streamers. So in that sense, it was really great. But if you were somebody who's coming into the platform and you really have a strong game plan, the fact of the matter is, you know, you just have to maintain consistency. And that's really the best way to grow on Twitch, is make sure you have a game plan and you stick to it. But not only stick to it, but look for other avenues that you can jump on whenever they open up for opportunity. So now we've kind of gone over how the lines were good. It was the number of people were actually pretty manageable, and the overall atmosphere wasn't that bad. I'm gonna go ahead and just say I don't think I need 3 days at TwitchCon ever again. The first day was fine. It was great to see what was on the expo, because there still were a couple good deals being offered around, a couple good giveaways that would help out some more unfortunate gamers. Audio Technica booth, I think, did a really good job of keeping it simple, having all the products out there as well as listed, and on top of the pricing that they had listed there, they were also adding an additional 30% off coupon for people that would swing by, especially on their starting streamer bundle. So I would definitely say that there were definitely some deals to be had, and I just don't think that it's one of the strong points of the con. And you can literally, and I do mean this literally, in 5 hours you can clear the expo and the art gallery if you're just there to like window shop and look for something that you might like to buy, and then go through that process of getting that transaction. I think 3 days is a little much. I don't think that the TwitchCon party would have been worth it had they not replaced Lil Nas X with Logic. That was a last minute substitution that happened. It was really cool. And the opening, our DJ, it was a pretty good show, like a pretty good opening DJ, but the Blink-182 headliner really felt awkward from like a viewer perspective. There were a lot of cheesy one-liner jokes that were thrown in between, and because there was really nothing else to do there besides like play pool on the upper area, or like, you know, chill in the stands / stand on the ground to watch the actual music, the TwitchCon party just felt pretty disenchanted. I felt like the mixing wasn't very good all throughout the night. The best mix was actually, or in terms of like audio design, was definitely with the DJ at the start, and that's probably because he did all of the mixing himself. Whereas with Blink-182, it was like the headlining event, but I felt like the mix, like in terms of sound quality, was really shit up until halfway through the set. I guess it's just one of those things where it's like, you know how a band should sound because you have that pre-rendered recording, but being somebody who has come from a live performance background, I was very underwhelmed with Blink-182. I don't know. I just felt that the TwitchCon party itself at Petco wasn't as good as it could be. Anyways, and then let's move on to the follow-up portion, which is kind of like the interaction, like the networking, because that's what a lot of people go to TwitchCon for. They tell themselves, oh yeah, I'm gonna get to meet these different streamers and get my name out there. The networking, if you're going to TwitchCon to network, you're already approaching streaming wrong. There were a couple interesting characters I came across in terms of like the cosplay, the outfit, and the way that they were trying to interact with people, get them to follow their social media. There was one gentleman that was roaming the con dressed up as Bob Ross, and on his back he had like a canvas where he was getting people's signatures, getting people to sign it basically, and then link their handle and stuff like that. And at the bottom he had like these laminated QR codes where people could snap it real quick and follow him on social media. And it was really cool, except for the fact that I still can't tell you what his name was. Like, that was the most memorable character I came across. That was somebody who I wasn't already looking for, and I could not tell you what his name is today. Matter of fact, at one of the bars we went to, when I went to the bathroom, there was actually somebody's business card. Like somebody actually had a business card, like a legit business card, like follow my stream. And that business card was just like in the trash. Like somebody had received this business card and just like thrown it on top of a bunch of paper towels at a random ass bar there in the Gaslamp district downtown. So I think the idea of networking at TwitchCon is a huge false flag. I don't think that should be any kind of motive to go. And it's hard to say that because you want to go and meet new people anytime you go out rather than just link up with people you already know online. But the truth of the matter is, like, the strong point of TwitchCon is getting to meet with community people. Like, I know that there were a lot of streamers who did meetups like outside of the con, and the turnouts were really good. Like, I'm convinced that a lot of these streamers only go to TwitchCon because they want a chance to like be approached by their fans directly, and they really don't even need even like a moderate sized community. The streamer doesn't even need to be in the con at all. You can literally relax, not deal with the lines, not deal with all the walking, not deal with all the different booths and whatnot. But it just felt like it was a lot easier to meet up outside of the convention, and that was more fun. One of the waitresses at one of the bars that we were hopping was talking about how surprised she was at how much Twitch people like to drink. And it kind of made us laugh because she's like, no, I'm being serious. Ever since the TwitchCon people have flown in, it's just been nonstop business. Like the community mixing outside of TwitchCon is impressive. And honestly, that's when I had the most fun. It wasn't really at the con. It was kind of cool seeing the expo floor, you know, but I knocked that out within 2 to 3 hours on day one. And it was kind of cool going to Petco Park and getting to see, you know, get some music out of my TwitchCon ticket. Honestly, I think that's the most value. I know I was just bashing the production of the sound quality, but honestly, like, that was one of the best like boons to getting a TwitchCon ticket, I felt like, was the TwitchCon party, because I just didn't feel like all the good stuff happened outside of the con, like the meeting up with friends and having a nice New York style pizza, the meeting with a different group of friends at a ramen sushi bar and eating fresh ramen, getting sake and soju and all those different kinds of experiences, that, and then socializing over the course of those different meals. That was the fun part of TwitchCon. Like, I honestly don't think that TwitchCon is necessary. I think that the meeting up with people, especially people who you know you're going to be closely associated with, such as like myself, American Riot, and Big Fry, it really was a good thing to do. And I wouldn't mind doing it in the future, but I'm definitely now disenchanted on the idea of going to TwitchCon for this, like, as a content creator with the intention of getting anything out of that, whether that's networking or product, anything like that. Literally everything else can be managed online if you handle it properly, and that includes the networking aspect of it. So overall, I'd say I had a good experience with TwitchCon, for sure. I'm not likely to go next year, but overall, my experience with TwitchCon was really good. And I think a lot of it had to do with the fact that I knew what I was going there for. I didn't have any unrealistic expectations, and the locale, like the location that I chose to both stay in and kind of frequent when I wasn't at the con, was a really nice area and really kind of just helped soothe my soul. And obviously the drinks and good food really helped kind of emphasize that aspect of the trip. But honestly, like, I don't see myself going to TwitchCon next year unless there's like a huge reason for me to go, such as like a fan meetup, or maybe there's a wider circle of people that want to meet up. But even if I do like make a flight down to TwitchCon next year, I probably won't even go within the con itself. I'll just remain on the outskirts of it, you know, wait till people get bored of it and then meet up with them outside of the convention. Because if I were to tick through all the people that I met in terms of outside of the con, we're talking Big Fry, we're talking Riot, we're talking Abel, we're talking Mr. Abel Green, we're talking Linky Poo, Old Daddy Link from the Insurgency community, founder of the DGL, Stuffed Shark, my protege Caster, longtime player of Insurgency, as well as Deprecha. He's a streamer for Rainbow Six and now moving to other games. Like, it was just, you get to meet so many cool people outside of the con. I personally just don't think I'm ever gonna like buy another con ticket when I could have met up with those people outside the con just as easily as I did, you know. But all in all, though, I did come back from the con feeling a lot more motivated, but I feel like that was just by proxy of being around Big Fry and Riot, because it's one thing to talk about plans with people behind closed doors. It's a whole nother thing to kind of come across that realization yourself and then just rekindle that amongst one another. The chemistry is really good between the three of us, and I'm really looking forward to the kind of progress that three of us make in our respective fields. As you guys have been able to tell over the past couple of weeks, I've tried to make a consistent effort to upload to YouTube, and I'm trying to make better videos as we go through it. There's a lot of reasons for this, and you guys are going to be aware really soon as far as where my toes are headed towards next, as I kind of lift myself and slowly move away from like the Sandstorm content. Don't get me wrong, there's still going to be some Sandstorm content that comes out, but for the most part, you're going to see a big shift in the direction of my brand here moving forward. So for the guys who are going to be tuning in and watching this, huge shout out to Fry and Riot, as well as, you know, a big hi like, hey, you doing, to Blinky, Shark, Preacha, Mr. Abel, all these guys, even A-Town, if he catches wind of this or anything like that. It was really great to meet all of you guys. I really hope we can do something in the future, maybe at TwitchCon time next year, but maybe not even inside of TwitchCon. And to those of you who have been kind of finding my channel and are kind of getting into the swing of things with me, look for more, just follow me on Twitter, because I'm going to be streaming more, I'm going to be making more YouTube videos, and I kind of want you guys to see the progression and quality. Hopefully we go up from here, and again, as we get into that sort of new era, just looking forward to the good vibes and progressing both as a gamer and a content creator. So rest well, recharge, enjoy peace of mind, and make sure you guys are all following me on the Twitter. Later.